Right, we should now be live once YouTube updates itself. Hello everyone, how are we all doing? Yes, I thought we would just get started as soon as I was ready. Do let me know how the stream is, because YouTube seems to be telling me there's a problem, but I can't understand why. Everything looks perfectly fine. Ever since Streamlabs did an update the other week, it's not been the same. So, I don't know. But let me know how it is in the comments. Hello, Kairu, John Drew, and Berenson, and whoever else might be lurking. Is chat working? Ah, chat is working. Hello, Berenson. You just attempted to tame a Phasaloceuchus, a Phasolasuchus in ASA. How did it go? I did recently watch Rebirth. It was alright and a fun movie, but very predictable. Yes, that's what I've heard. So, I haven't done very much since we were last here, because I've been a bit distracted playing other things. But what we do now have is... we do have the JEHELOPTERUS in their little stone henge. There is a full 7 in here. They've mostly stayed around here. They do occasionally fly over here somewhat, but they are mostly staying here, which is good. And yeah, I'm just going to spend today just sort of doing this enclosure, doing the decorative work, that sort of thing. It's going to be fairly chilled and relaxed. Do let me know, folk, is the stream okay? Because YouTube is giving me an error, but there's no error on my part. Like, OBS is not telling me that there's anything wrong. Everything is fine. Okay, so it's just YouTube being YouTube. I heard that Gareth Edwards said feathered dinosaurs aren't scary. Well, technically that isn't what he said. Technically, he was commenting on what someone else said and that he agreed with them. And it was someone else who said that feathered dinosaurs weren't scary. But yes, he seems to suspect or think that, you know, a dinosaur covered in feathers can't possibly be scary. To which I say, that's your fault as a director if you can't make a feathered dinosaur scary. You know, and we've seen a feathered dinosaur be scary. It's called the Therizinosaurus in Dominion. One of the few things about that movie I can say with no sense of irony was actually relatively decent. Was the scene with the Therizinosaurus. Yes, Gareth Edwards also... Ooh, look how my bushes have gone weird. I think this is a symptom of, like, you know that the game is starting to struggle with all the things on the map, is when you get weird stuff happening to vegetation. So yeah, I think we're going to have to start being careful. Hello, Luna. Hello, Spiny Games. Rebirth kind of feels like it's falling into the same trope of dinosaurs being scaly animals that can only live in the tropics. Yes, it does seem that Mr. Edwards has a particularly old-fashioned perspective on dinosaurs, which, you know, that's his prerogative, I suppose. He is, after all, the maker of the film, so he can have whatever artistic direction he likes for it. We all just have the right to disagree with him, because he's wrong. Think we need like some trees over here. I actually enjoyed Rebirth a lot and liked the D-Rex. There could have been more done with it, but I liked the 2 cool scenes that it had. I have thoughts about that, but I haven't yet seen the film. That being said, I have had the entire film spoiled. So, like, I know what happens in the whole film, but I'm still not going to do, like, any, you know, discussion on it until I've watched it, because, you know, it's not fair to judge a film before you actually see it, even if you know everything that's going to happen. I would say at this point, I doubt I'm going to enjoy it. From everything I've already heard, I can sense that I'm going to have a bit of a ranty review about it. Let's get this sorted out. This is such a horrid mess here. Yeah, exactly. No spoilers in chat, regardless. But yes, I have a lot of thoughts already about the film, and I haven't even gotten around to see it yet. One thing I would say, though, is everything that I have heard has solidified my belief that paying to see this in a cinema is not worth it. So, that's definitely going to be where that thought stays. Okay, so I can see what Rob has tried to do here. Just think it needs to be tidied up a little. Can I grab this, please? Moving these waterfalls is going to be almost impossible, I think. Just want to line them up a little better. Mods, what can you say? Yeah. Yeah, some of the waterfalls are very janky as elements. It does make them somewhat annoying to use. Thank God they're going to be a bit easier to make use of in E3. Let's get some splash effects in here. Oh, that's way too big. Okay. And then we just kind of need to... We just kind of need to do something similar at each part of this. like how huge that flow is. Can we actually sink these down a little bit more? Thank you. Okay, there. There we go. That's a little bit more realistic. You brought the Mattel D-Rex and you're still laughing at the ridiculousness of the toy itself. Well, I mean, it's a ridiculous toy for a ridiculous animal, isn't it? So... I feel like we need to move this chunk of water here a little bit further down and lift it up a bit. There we go. And let's move these pieces of waterfall. About do, I think. I know it sounds really bad, but I genuinely wanted to punch someone in the cinema. They were talking really loudly and walked in and out of the room 5 times. See, now that's... I cannot stand people like that. Like, people who go to a cinema and all they do is just talk or walk in and out of the damn thing. I'm like, why did you even bother coming if you're not going to actually sit down and watch the flippin' film? Like, if you don't like the movie, if you're bored, piss off. The other ones I don't understand are the folks that think it's a good idea to bring, like, their 2-year-old baby to the theatre, and it's like, what? Why would you do that? Like, just spoiling everyone else's experience because you chose to have a flipping child. Wait until they're old enough to attend the cinemas, for heaven's sake. No. I'm sorry to, like, if I come across as slightly rude in what I'm about to say here, but we chose not to have kids. You chose to have children. Stop bringing your choice to the cinema, you know what I mean? Okay, those waterfalls will get rid of there, because we don't really need them. We can just put some rocks up here. Make it like a little spring. That's a lot nicer. Babies would be too young for that. Leave them with grandparent or some other family when watching the film. Yeah, exactly. Just don't bring them into the theatre. You know that people are going to be trying to watch the film. Like, why would you try and... Why would you bring a young kid in when you know the chances are that young kid is not going to be able to shut up? That's a little nicer. I am noticing every tree I place down now is coming out a little bit deformed. I think we might be at the limit. I'm not sure I'm going to even be able to finish this build, to be honest. See how it goes. The way to sum up Rebirth is like this. Horrible Marvel humor with Godzilla 2014 moments. Ooh, you don't sound like you enjoyed it much, Andre, then. Yeah, Jao, please do not put spoilers in chat. The Aqualops was my favorite dinosaur from the film. I suspect the Aqualops might be an element that I will be criticizing when I do my review. Okay, now, I don't want this enclosure to be, like, too wooded, because I feel like the enclosures look a little ugly if they've got too much trees. But I do think we need some trees, so just make a little patch there. A little patch there. That's good. We will put down some foliage along the river. Way too intense. This is the bit that bugs me about this particular game. Like, when your parks start reaching a certain point, you just can't really do very much with them. You have to start compromising in various ways, and it just becomes really frustrating. I really hope that with Jurassic World Evolution 3, they they find a way to optimize the game better. So that we don't have to choose between something that looks nice and something that, you know, actually works. My problem with Aqualops is that it just exists to be the cutie dinosaur of the film and doesn't serve much of a purpose. Yes, in many of the reviews I've seen a lot of people compare the Aqualops to Baby Yoda from Mandalorian. I know he's not Yoda, Grogu. And that seems to be what generally people are comparing it to. It's just like, it's literally just there to be cute baby thing, which exists solely for the purpose of selling merchandise. Again, I haven't seen the movie, so I cannot judge it yet, but that is what I've seen people saying. And if that, you know, if that is essentially the purpose of it, then yeah, I don't think I will like its inclusion. I didn't like the movie. It was mid at best, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 is still a comparatively high score for a film that's considered mid. I feel like this is a very wildly off-topic conversation, but I feel like our view on like ratings and scoring has become a little skewed. Like, we've seen it in video games where like a video game will get like a 7 out of 10 and it will be called bad, but 7 out of 10 isn't a bad score, is it? It's 70%. 70% is a high score. So I feel like ratings. I mean, I don't really like rating systems anyway. It's why I tend, like, I do make a habit of trying not to rate films and stuff by, you know, very generic out of 10 scores, because I feel this is one of the problems with it. You end up with like a very weird sort of thing, if you know what I mean. Sorry, the thing I wanted to say there disappeared. The point I was trying to make disappeared from my mind. You know what I mean. Like, 70% is in theory not a bad score, but it's just modern review culture that has made it a bad score. I hope to see a DLC with some dinosaurs from the new movie in Jurassic World Evolution 3. Yeah, Matthias, I suspect that is how we're going to end up with the Jurassic Rebirth content in Evolution 3. I suspect that it'll come as a form of a DLC. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think it would be the best way of them adding the content in, because I wouldn't want, say, certain species cut just so we could have D-Rex. I would much rather it come in as a DLC. Then the people who want their monsters can have their monsters by paying for it. Do you think Dryo will make it into E3? Henry Ford, I would be surprised if it didn't. I suspect quite a few of the cut creatures are going to be animals in JWE2 DLCs or lagoon and aviary species. I reckon lagoons and aviary animals, I think, are going to get a real slashing. Because I think Frontier sees them as you know, the people don't generally build aviaries and lagoons all that often, and I think Frontier has seen that as, oh well, they just don't like the animals, as opposed to the real fact, which was we just didn't like the way they added them to the game, the actual lagoons and aviaries. So I suspect Frontier is going to chop a lot of lagoon and aviary species down. Custom llamas. I'm glad I'm not the only person who still hasn't seen it yet. Yes, no, I haven't seen it yet, but that's only because I refuse to pay any money towards seeing it in a cinema. After I saw Rebirth at the cinema, and I then went and watched Dominion at the cinema, and after Dominion, I decided I was done giving Universal and my local cinema any more money. I was like, nope, this is not going to continue. I'm voting with my wallet. Improve the quality of the films if you want me to come and see them. And honestly, I think that's what we all need to start doing if we want to see video games and movies generally improve. Is I think we all need to start not giving in to FOMO and actually, you know, vote with our wallets. But that's a different conversation entirely. Yeah, my game is not liking the fact that I've put down so many decorative pieces already in this park. This park is not even that heavy in its construction, and well, I suppose some elements of it were reasonably heavy, but it's just disappointing to see how much Jurassic World Evolution 2 struggles if you try to do anything remotely intense with it. Fully understandable where Dominion is concerned. Hello, Grubdog. And yes, I still stand by what I said all those years ago when it came to Dominion, that I still wholeheartedly believe that Dominion is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Not just a terrible Jurassic movie, but I think it's one of the worst movies, full stop, that I have ever seen. Which, it beats out... Well, actually, does it beat it? No. It's probably on par with the latest Star Trek film that came out. To not very much fanfare and general overall disgust earlier this year. See, Kairu, I've heard a lot of people saying at least this is better than Dominion. I'm not sure that is entirely meaningful. So I'm like, that's a pretty low bar. And if Gareth Edwards and, what was it, David Cope cannot do something that is much better than that, like, what the hell? Like, come on, guys. I actually had Dominion over Jurassic Park 3 for a while. Ooh, Corey, that's, I can't agree with you there. Honestly, I can't believe that Swerve went and watched Dominion according to Swerve, and of course we have to take everything he says with a pinch of salt, because he's a known liar. He apparently went and watched it like 50 times, 60 times. 3 times was enough for me. Rebirth works well as a standalone movie or a Where Are the Dinosaurs Now movie. I don't want another World trilogy. See, I think there is an unfortunate truth that I think a lot of us fans of the Jurassic franchise have kind of not really, you know, we haven't really said it aloud. But I'm going to say it aloud here. And that's the inconvenient truth that really this should never have been a franchise in the first place. Let's all be honest. Michael Crichton didn't want to write any more books after the first one because the first one was good as it was. He knew that. He had to be forced to write another one. Hello, Guillermo. And then, ever since, you know, being forced to write that one, he refused to write any more. And ever since has just been one long mission of writer and director, one after the other, trying to recapture what Michael Crichton did perfectly well in a single book. And regardless of how good the Lost World movie was, and regardless of how good JP3 is, and regardless of how okay Jurassic World was, none of them have ever been as good as the original. And the fact is, it should never have become a franchise. I honestly think that Jurassic World should have just been a standalone film. They should have been like, it's been X number of years since Jurassic Park. Let's do an interesting what-if scenario to celebrate Jurassic reaching, God knows how many years old it was when Jurassic World came out. Here's a nostalgic movie called Jurassic World about, you know, what would have happened if the park had actually opened, blah, 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 blah. And they should have just left it as one standalone film. And I think if that had been the case, I think we'd all look at Jurassic World a lot more favourably than we do now. But as Guillermo said, they want to squeeze it for money, because it does make money. But Marvel used to make money, and then they squeezed it and squeezed it and squeezed it, and now it's ran dry, and Marvel is in a bit of a dip, shall we say. You know, a lot of their recent projects and a lot of their recent TV shows haven't done particularly well, because they've squeezed it dry. They've just degraded the product too much. And I feel that Jurassic is going that way. I'm going to be really curious to see what the numbers are for Rebirth when they start revealing how much it's made. I suspect it will have made money. I also suspect that it might not have made as much money as they were hoping, but it will still be a large amount. Like, Universal will say that they're disappointed, but I reckon it's still probably made $750 million easily, I would suspect. But Universal will say they're disappointed with that because, you know, some money is not as good as all of the money in the world. Steven Spielberg said that he wanted to do a JP4, aka Jurassic World, to basically show, even with all the technology, security, and understanding of the creatures, we couldn't control nature. Yeah. Swerve is a machine of fake news, always pumping garbage content non-stop. He lives in the United Arab Emirates. I didn't realize this, but he lives in the UAE. How the hell he can afford that? He must have very wealthy parents. Or he must have made a heck of a lot of money off his YouTube. And all I'm going to say in regards to that is the UAE and all of those countries in that area are not exactly known for... How can I phrase it? Progressive thinking. Being very nice places for particular groups of individuals to live in, shall we say. Now, I'm not accusing Swerve of having particular ideological views. I'm just going to say, if you live in the UAE or Dubai, you're going to have certain... You have to live your life a certain way by the rules of the land. not going to say he's outrightly anti any group of individuals, of which I consider myself a part of a community of individuals that places like Dubai and the UAE do not like.
What of two?
Both. Oh, right, yes. Okay, yes. 2. I've been corrected by Dane. just saying, you know. In my opinion, as I haven't watched the new film that was released, which is just, well, in my opinion, it's not that bad. It's good. Do you think JWE3 will finally have pterosaur socials? Well, I would assume so, since they've already shown interactions between pterosaur family groups. Unfortunately, when it comes to things like animation quality, that is something we are only going to know when the game releases and when we play the game over a period of hours. Because the fact is, it isn't if they have animations that's the question. It's how many animations do they have, how often do they do them, and what the quality of them is. Because the animations in Jurassic World Evolution 2 are fine. It's just they only have one, and they do it way too often, so it becomes horribly repetitive after a while. The next game needs its animals to have more animations to choose from and more interesting behaviors. Like something, I suppose I should probably do a video on this at some point, but something that I find really bizarre about these games is that the dinosaurs don't interact with their environment. They don't push over trees. They don't scratch on rocks and trees. They don't roll around in the water deliberately. Stuff like that. That's the sort of animations we need to have added for the animals to start feeling a lot more alive. Now, JPOG didn't even have animations of that quality. I don't know if Planet Zoo really does that sort of thing, but Planet Zoo has the animal enrichment system, so animals interact with their enrichment items, which is why I think this Jurassic World Evolution 3 should have enrichment so that we can have those animations. Now, what I want to do, depending on how many trees this is going to take, is I want to line the edge of this enclosure with two trees. This may take some time. I want to really protect the enclosure from the road, essentially. Thoughts on Prehistoric Kingdom? I think Prehistoric Kingdom has the potential to be an absolutely fantastic game. If people are willing to continue to support the developers for the next year. Potentially more. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, Jurassic World Evolution 3 is going to kill Prehistoric Kingdom. I actually think it's going to turn out to be the opposite. I think Jurassic World Evolution 3's launch is actually going to benefit Prehistoric Kingdom immensely because it's going to demonstrate to everybody the power of a modular building system. And I think that's going to be good because I think a lot of people they don't even want to give Prehistoric Kingdom a chance because of the modular building. But I suspect that Evolution 3, because it's Evolution 3, people are going to want to play it because it's the next Jurassic game. They come to the game, they see modular building, they play around with it, they go, oh, actually, modular building isn't that difficult. You can do interesting things with it. That might get more people in a roundabout way to actually play Prehistoric Kingdom. In a weird way. We'll have to see, obviously we'll have to see what happens, but yeah, that is my, I suppose I could call it a hope, because I want to see Prehistoric Kingdom do well. But, and it might be copium to suggest that maybe it will benefit from E3's launch, but we'll see. I suspect maybe that people will come to appreciate Prehistoric Kingdom more. I also, connected to that, I think it is immeasurably sad that in an era where we can have multiple dinosaur park building games, a certain faction of the community wants to turn this into some sort of contest. Oh no. Oh, it's going to kill this game, it's going to kill that game, blah blah blah. What an immeasurably sad thing to devolve the development of both titles into. For what? Cheap points and forced arguments on Reddit. How absolutely sad and small-minded of people, frankly. There was a me being a little bit grumpy because I've seen it so much lately, and I think it's shit. I'm gonna swear because I honestly think it's really, really crummy. I think it's narrow-minded and really crummy behavior to do. I suppose the problem is that not enough modern Jurassic fans grew up in the 90s and the 2000s where we had very few Jurassic games at all, you know. I'm not going to accuse certain members of the community of being entitled, spoiled little brats, but as someone who remembers the dark times of where we had very little Jurassic content at all, very little dinosaur content at all, the fact they devolved Prehistoric Kingdom and Jurassic World Evolution 3 into a contest is just really galling. Anyway, just my opinion. All in favour of making JWE have more players than JWE 3 after its launch. This is King Giga. That would be awfully fun. I've seen a lot of Reddit posts, actually, of people only just starting to get used to playing Evolution 1, let alone Evolution 2. I saw a very interesting post on Reddit yesterday, which I almost wrote a response to, but it was so baffling that I'm like, what? I'm actually going to read it out. I wouldn't usually do this, but it is so baffling. I'm actually going to read it out to you guys because I think it's really very confusing. Let me just scroll down, see if I can find this here. Reddit has slowed down in recent months. Okay, so I'm just going to read out this paragraph. I hope my wife enjoys playing the game because I straight up hate it. I love that you can do more than what you can do in 1, but it feels so off. Here's to hoping 3 is less like 2 and more like 1, mostly with the return of the 5 deaths. I don't care about playing in Japan or Argentina or building parks there. We've lost that thing that makes Jurassic Park feel like it was. It's such a weird perspective for him to have. Just like... I don't want more interesting maps or places to build parks. I just want to build on the 5 deaths over and over again. I'm like... What a strange view. It is the first time I've ever seen someone basically say they don't like being able to build in other parts of the world. And it legitimately baffled me. Also, I don't know where he got the Argentina thing from, because like even in Jurassic World Evolution 3, none of the parks are in Argentina. So I'm like, where did he even get that from? That post had me tweaking, says Slightly Super. I was going to respond, but I sat there thinking, what can I say to you? There is nothing I can say to a person with that perspective. I would guess he's probably also one of these people that thinks JPOG's Site B mode was perfect and amazing and should never have not been had. It's just a very perspective. Yeah, exactly, Custom. Don't use the maps. In shortened terms, I want only tropical biomes. Yeah. And I like I say, I don't get that perspective because I'm like, you don't want the opportunity to construct parks in the rest of the world? I mean, I maybe he lives on Isla Pena or Isla Tacaño and he just, you know, is really patriotic about the little island he lives on. Because, you know, the thing that also makes me laugh about his comment is the franchise literally only goes to 2 of the 5 deaths. Like, Jurassic World Evolution 1 is not canon to the series, you know. Only Sauna and Nublar are canon. So it's not even like it's a specifically like a franchise thing. It's a very odd perspective. Hello, Crazy Creature 9. Yeah, his wife is apparently really enjoying it. But of all the things to criticize the game for, and I should know, because, you know, I criticized a lot in that 4-hour-long video I made. Incidentally, if you haven't seen my 4-hour-long retrospective review on Jurassic World Evolution 2, I do suggest that if you want something to listen to in the background, you do go and give it a listen, because, I don't know, I think it's a pretty decent all-round review, and it even goes into a few elements that I don't see a lot of other people talking about when it comes to Jurassic World Evolution games, and you know, what's good and bad. So, do give it a check out if you haven't already. But I know a lot of people don't like listening to me speak for 4 hours. That's fine. It's not the enclosure I wanted to make, because I feel that you know, the game is obviously starting to degrade in quality because of the amount of stuff I'm putting down. But I think it's passable. And I quite like our little JEHELOPTERUS henge. I do think we need some more... Okay, speaking of Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, I want to say something positive, actually. There is one thing that I think would really benefit Jurassic World Evolution 3. And that is bringing back JPOG's hold down space to bring up every animal's position and happiness. Because while I was doing this thing, making this enclosure, or doing some work on this enclosure earlier on today, the muscle memory that I have from JPOG was constantly wanting to press spacebar to see where the JEHELOPTERUS were. But of course you can't, you have to go into map. But why can't we just have it like where we hold down space and it just bring up all the icons? That would be so helpful. And then if you held down space and moved the mouse over to one of the icons, it would just bring up like a little box that told you how comfortable they were. It would be so useful. Right, let's have a look at this. Oh yeah, so I was thinking of, we probably could do with some extra animals in here. I'm thinking it's high time we put in a big boy or girl into here somewhere. So I'm thinking big carnivore time. What I'm thinking about is we grab a random fence type. So I'm thinking we basically give our big carnivore like this area up here. Or maybe we have it... Maybe we have them coming down slightly. Let's grab a fence. So let's go from here... around the back of here. Give them kind of... I know it's a bit of a weird shape, but I want to give them a reasonable amount of territory. We can get rid of this. That clip there. And if you just connect it there. Connect this to there. So, like, the big carnival will basically have, like, some water, a decent amount of land, and I'm thinking we could probably put in some form of viewing. We could do with a tower up here. Like, we got this weird gap at the end of this area here where a viewing tower would fit quite nicely. And we can just put like a carnivore in here. I'm new to this stream series, but the waterfalls in this map are chef's kiss. So this is a map that one of the Triclaw community has made for me, Rob Earth. He made this map by expanding the Great Britain map. Some of the waterfalls were here already, like this one. Some I've put in, like this one here. And the whole purpose of this build is that it's not really a park. This is like a British coastal seaside town where the animals are sort of wild and they're taking advantage of the tourism to kind of get people to come to the island, basically. So it's trying to do something a little bit Dominion-esque. Is probably, there you go, Dominion-esque with it. That's the aim of this particular build. Right. Let us save. And go and find a big carnivore. By the way, if you haven't liked the stream, please consider doing so. It does help the algorithm. And if you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. We are more than just a dinosaur gaming channel. We do play other games as well. I'm just the resident dinosaur person and history person. Right, let's have a look. You're going to Georgia Aquarium on Wednesday. Henry Ford, you have reminded me that at some point I need to do the video I was going to do a month ago with the sort of the walk round the National History Museum here in the UK. I went a couple of months ago. I took a bunch of pictures and video footage, and I wanted to do sort of a video showing off the fossils and some other cool stuff we have at our National History Museum. Some people asked for it, essentially. Okay. Big boy carnivores. We've got acro, but I don't necessarily want to just use something that is I've used quite often. Tarbo I have used recently. Giga, I just don't like either model, really. Tangalong I don't think is big enough. Picaro has really bad skins. Vista might be borderline too small. I think. Sorry, Faganax is a possibility. Or we could just go for the classic T-Rex, but they do not shut up. Which really bugs me. You never use Giga. Yeah, I never use the Giga because both the Frontier version and the Dominion version I think are just awful. Sad how most of the big carnivores have mid to bad models. Yeah, like I think if you were looking at them all, I think the only big carnivores that have decent models in terms of both the quality of the model and their skins are basically the T-Rex and the Acro. The rest all really suffer. I think I've actually got like 3 different body types for the Acro. Yes, we've got some very different body variety we can have with the Acro. I do quite like Master Dutes. I think it gives me some JPOG vibes, which I do quite like. The only problem is it doesn't have pattern colorations, which is a bit disappointing. Do I have anything on the Indo? We've used the Indotaurus, and I don't really want to use a hybrid. The Havenator is too small. I love it. Saurophaganax is I think it might have to be Saurophaganax because I think hang on, don't I have map you? I do have Mapusaurus. Okay. Saurophaganax or Mapusaurus? Let me know in the comments. I say comments, let me know in chat. Sorry. It's a better Giga King. Marconian says Saurophaganax is my favourite sauropod. Yes. So, Saurophaganax is one of those dinosaurs that's going through some weird stuff. Sauro for democracy, Sauro. I think Saurophaganax is going to pip it. I mean, what have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Saurophaganax, yeah. Okay. So the pattern colors basically just change what's on the nose, which is fine. Easy system. I really do love the blue. Not a big fan of the Planet Dinosaur one, but I do love the blue. But I think we'll go for a different combo. And I want to find something that suits. No, I think what we might go for is just quite a lightly coloured one. I quite like the idea that actually I really like that. That gives me old JPOG Carcharodontosaurus vibes. Okay. Obviously we need a male and a female. So male Saurophaganax is Killian Mountains and Lithobates. And the female... Mom, I'm a sauropod now. It's not just a phase. Oh, I'm so glad I never had to have that awkward conversation with my mom. I was already like out as gay at my school and stuff for like years before my mum just like one day randomly asked me, "Are you gay?" And I went, "Yes," and that was it. That was the conversation. There was no. It was just a, "Are you?" Yes. It was so simple. I think the females will give them like the light orange dapple on the thing, And the females we will change the body color for. So the males are like this color. So you make the females... So make the females darker, because I think that makes sense. Make them easier to hide in like the underbrush and stuff. So male Saurophaganax would be Svalbard, which is an area in Norway, I think, if I remember correctly. Right. It's Allosaurus anax. How many times do you think that's going to get misspelled in a predictive text? Don't ask what side Saurophaganax was in during World War II. We don't mention the war. Even though, literally on this map, we have a bombed out church that has, in the story of this map, been bombed by the Luftwaffe. But we won't mention the war. Oh, we will shut the park. Right, I do want to put some texture down around this water, because I just think it's a bit bland. By the way, what did people think of the new details that were revealed in the email exclusive video? If you haven't watched my video on it, it is the most recent one, I believe, on the channel. Do give it a look. I can't wait for guests to ruin frame rates in E3. Yeah, I hope that the frame rates are improved. They really need to be. Okay. Let us get a dinosaur production building, and we will make the Saurophaganax. And then, basically, the area up here is done. And then what we need to do is think about what we're going to do over here. Because I still haven't decided yet whether I want this to be like a miniature kind of traditional park with like paving and stuff like that. A nature sort of tour area with like where you walk through it. Or a river tour on a boat. I haven't yet decided. Maybe you guys can give me your thoughts as I go and create the Saurophaganax. Ah yes, talking of PC specs, my new PC is in pre-production, or it has been built. It is now being tested to make sure it all works fine. So hopefully next week the new PC should be delivered. Or be on its way at the very least. I do have to thank my wonderful boyfriend for helping me with it, Dane. Because what we've done is, so my current PC, whose name is Goliath. Do people name their PCs still? I name every PC I have. I don't know why. I just do. Superstition. I think they work better if you give them a name. Um, but yeah, my current PC Goliath, he's about half paid for. The problem is, if I was to like buy all the parts he needs to get him up to a better standard, the amount of money it was going to cost me, it was just going to be better. It was just, you know, it was just going to be a bit more reasonable to just order a whole new PC that had better stats to build off of. So, yeah, that's... I'm not looking forward to the performance problems. I can just imagine how many people will be disappointed if the game doesn't run on their PC. I would love a cup of tea, thank you. Not while I'm on the stream. You can have the rest of the lemon cake though if you wish.
What? Why?
Because you can have the rest of the lemon cake if you wish. It's fine. But yeah, as I was saying, like Jurassic World Evolution 3, the system requirements are quite as... I feel like it's another one of those things I don't see anybody talking about. Don't bother looking at the minimum recommendations on Steam, okay? Always ignore them. Look at the recommended. And the recommended are quite a step up for Jurassic World Evolution 3 compared to what they were for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Not massively so. I mean, a reasonably average build is still going to be able to run it if you've got a decent graphics card in there and a decent processor. I'm going from a top-end Ryzen 5, a 5th generation. I don't even know that. I'm going from a Ryzen 5 5600X to a Ryzen 7 7700. So I'm going up to the next type, and I'm going forward 2 generations. I think that's how it works. I'm also not going with Nvidia. So Nvidia has lost me as a customer. I have been so disappointed with both of the Nvidia cards I have had in my last 2 PCs. And I've also been disappointed by the quality of their software. So I'm switching to AMD. I use Ryzen 5 700X 3D. Yeah, I don't think I've gone for the 3D one. Let me have a look. I shall get my phone and quickly turn on das Internet. And then I can tell you guys what is in it to begin with. Something I am doing as well. So I'm going to full SSD. So Goliath, its main drive is still a standard hard drive, because at the time I ordered him, I didn't exactly trust SSDs. I'm not sure why. I don't know. I don't know enough about them to trust them. But I'm a little more trusting of them now. Right. Where did... I sent it to Lima. Okay, so yeah, I'm going up to a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. That's the processor in the new one. It's going to have 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, and it's going to have a 12 gigabyte RX 7700 XT Swift graphics card. So it's going to be... It's still not top of the line. It's still nowhere near Evo's level of PC. But it's definitely a step up. No worries, Custom. Thank you for tuning in. Like, in comparison to the graphics card I'm using now, the new PC is going to be 110% better. In terms of its speed, essentially. Which is going to come in handy. And yeah, that's another thing people are not, I think, talking about when it comes to E3, is it's going to be CPU intensive because of modular building. Modular building is always CPU intensive, so people may find themselves struggling if they have a CPU that's not up to the job. Anyway, here's our... Here is our male and female Saurophagonax. Lovely. I suspect they probably won't add AMD stuff, but I'm assuming that you can turn it on regardless. I'm pretty sure that when it comes to that sort of stuff, you can turn it on and force it to run. Not to mention, I don't honestly think that NVIDIA's DLSS and that works very well in this anyway. Like, I think it's been implemented really badly, so... Again, I suspect I'm not going to miss my NVIDIA graphics card. I do have instant construction on King Giga. It just always does that if it's too close to a dinosaur still. That... Oh, if I'm going to do that, might as well just do this. I don't like that. I'm going to get rid of that. Let's try that again. I prefer that. Sometimes you don't need to fill in every space. Just leave that as is. Let us create flowers down here. Not gonna lie, Paleo Void's analog horror is underrated for something that uses Jurassic World technology. I'm not sure I've ever heard of that. Is this something I have missed in the community? What is this Jurassic Paleo Void? Sorry. Is this another dino YouTuber? See, this is another reason why I don't consider myself a dinosaur YouTuber, because like there are so many legitimate dinosaur YouTubers I don't know. Like I don't watch Gaming Beaver, and I never have. I feel like I'm the only person who plays Jurassic World Evolution 2 who doesn't watch Gaming Beaver. Thank you for the cup of tea.
We are variety streamers. We are variety.
We are variety, but I was just talking about myself specifically.
I know. I was listening from upstairs. I was making a joke.
It's an analog horror creator that makes if dinosaurs were brought back more realistic. Ah. What do you mean by analog horror? I'm not someone who watches horror, so I don't know what analog horror means. Oh, found footage. Like, now I get you, King Giga. Gotcha. I gotcha. You can see it switch to the low or low LOD versions of like all of the plants on the map. Oh, I hate it when it does that. Things look so ugly. One video has a trike Wow, that's grim. What shall we do with this shop up here? I'm trying to think of like another like common British shop. Maybe we should make it like a mini Tesco's. Okay, we'll keep with that. I like the wavy thing. Tesco's occasionally does a wavy thing. There isn't really a sign that works for Tesco's. What that one will do. So Tesco's main color is like a blue, but it's not that sort of blue. It's like more like that blue. And they also have red on their thing.
It's too bright.
I don't know. Well,
That is too bright. I'm sorry.
I'm being told it's too bright.
I'm literally giving you my uniform.
Closer to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those cases where you do actually have reference.
It's red.
Yeah. There's no other way of saying that one.
We'll use the same red on those things, and we'll use the same orange on the lights, and we will call this Tesco.
Remember to spell with a K to make it legally distinct.
Nope.
That's a joke you should get.
It sounds like a very what's the word I'm looking for? Shit, I've forgotten the word. A very in-depth thing for a found footage film. Reasonably happy with that. Oh, I think that's a screenshot opportunity. Oh, I'm behind a fence. I just love the side eye from the Camarasaurus. What's the meme? Criminal side eye. Most recent episode from Prehistoric Emergencies is an influencer getting killed by a sauropod. Please let it be Swerve. Is it wrong for me to have said that? I don't wish death on anyone apart from my abusive ex-stepfather, but there are some people that come awfully close. Okay, so what are we going to do up here? Do we build like a sort of touristy park tour forest pathway sort of thing? Do we build a boat tour up here? What do we do? Because I'm kind of in two minds about it. I like the idea of it being a river tour. But if we do a river tour, we're probably going to have to make some of these rivers a little bit bigger. And probably put in a couple of artificial channels to create the loop. Boat tour would be an excellent idea, says Cairo. Yeah, King Giga says river tour as well. I pray their pillows are hot in summer. King Giga, that is deliciously evil. I mean, I usually default to the one of my favorite sayings from Blackadder, which is, I hope your head falls off at an inopportune moment. Because I just think that's hilarious. Cutting a little bit of the forest back so that we can see what we're doing here. This is acceptable. Right. Because I feel like if we are going to have like a river tour up here, we also need to actually create something more like a proper, not necessarily a park area, but like a proper sort of guest place. So I'm thinking... Oh shit. It's almost time for me to pop off a D&D. So this will be the last, this planning bit will be the last thing we do. So the path will come up here, stick close to the mountain, stop here, and then basically sort of here. This is where the guest zone will be. We'll have like amenities, that sort of thing. And then the river tour will start here. Go up this channel. And thinking, let's take it around this island. Let's make this a little wider. Around here, we'll cut a little bit off of here. We'll head down this narrower river. I'm thinking of making these two sections a little taller, so we have a kind of a gorge that they pass through. It'll come back past the tall building. All the way over to here. Turn around. So let's make this wide enough for them to do a turn. And then come back. So that's going to be kind of the passage for the tour. And like I say, we'll turn... We'll create like a high ridge on this side and on this side. So we have like a gorge that the boat travels through. That is the plan. Pingus check. Where is Pingus? Pingus is fine. In fact, there's a lot of dinosaurs down there. That's another, I feel like that's another screenshot opportunity. Of course, the camera won't allow me to go low enough to get a good screenshot of them. That's slightly annoying. But they are all looking good. Typical that I end the stream on rain. So yeah, next Sunday then, I'll do some homework. So next Sunday, it'll be populating this area. I'm gonna build, what I'll do for homework is I'll build the guest zone up here. And probably also connect up all of the Jeep stops. And then, literally next Sunday, the stream will be populating and designing this enclosure, and then Winston Bay will essentially be done. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to be done before Jurassic World Evolution 3 launched, so I suppose that I will have time to build a new park. So yeah, I'm going to pop off now, as I say, because it is D&D day, so I'm pop off a couple of minutes early, or 10 minutes early. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been quite an active, busy stream today. I think that's because Evo hasn't been around today because she's ill, bless her. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Don't forget to like the stream if you haven't. Please do subscribe if you're new to the channel, as it would be nice to get to 4,000 subs before the end of the year. And I will see you on Wednesday when I join with Fallout stream. Next week, the video is ready to go. And it's going to be quite an interesting video next week. Next week is 10 things you might not know about Guanlong. So if you want to get to know one of our new Jurassic World Evolution 3 animals, you should check that video out when it releases on Wednesday. But yeah, wherever you are, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evenings. Stay safe, and good night.